the situation going down in the Bayou with the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees, of course, not going to retire, signed a 2-year contract. Now they just signed Jameis Winston to a 1-year contract worth about 1.1, can make up to 3.4 in incentives. And they have extended Taysom Hill to a 2-year, is like 21 or 23 million on the contract with 16 guaranteed.
Yeah, it was essentially a 1-year, $16 million deal because he's pretty much going to be able to choose where he wants to go next year.
Yeah, and they pretty much put all the money into the first year. They left like the extra money in the second year.
Yeah.
But what's going so Drew Brees is obviously the starter. Jameis Winston likely going to be the backup, but yeah, Taysom Hill is a backup. Or is this going to be the same situation essentially last year where Jameis is pretty much replacing and he's going to be the next Teddy Bridgewater in New Orleans? So like if, say, Drew Brees goes down again, they didn't have Taysom Hill start those 5 games. They had Teddy Bridgewater come in and start those 5 games. They still had Taysom Hill as a sort of flex, the athlete.
Yeah. I think it's. So is that the same
situation they're going to use for
Jameis? I think it's a huge possibility because I mean, think about it. It's the perfect situation for James to go into. He has Michael Thomas at receiver. He has a solid run game with Alvin Kamara. Their offensive line is always pretty decent.
Yeah.
He has Drew Brees to sit behind and learn from and pick his brain, see how the offense works.
If he's going to get his interceptions down, it's going to be from the help of Drew Brees, one of the most accurate quarterback in NFL history.
Exactly. And not to mention Sean Payton, too. He's going to get to study under his tutelage, which is going to be fantastic.
Good work, Blake.
Yeah, so I think – thank you. So I think it's going to be a really good scenario for him. I think he's going to benefit a lot from this. He just has to go into it with the right mentality, and it seems like he is. He took the first step.
Cam Newton's going right now.
Such a humble deal, right? I mean, 1.1 million.
That's almost a minimum. That's almost a veteran minimum.
Yeah, and after the numbers that he was reported to going after, that's wonderful. So
shout out to James for being able to swallow his pride and not look like Cam Newton's able to do the other. We'll get to that in a quick second. But
it's a gamble.
It's
a huge gamble for sure.
It is,
but it could pay out really well.
The thing with Taysom Hill though is that when Jameis was first time, I was like, oh, Taysom Hill to the Patriots. Congrats, New England. But New England's not interested. At this point, I'm just buying in the fact that New England is still going to win 10 games. They're still going to make the playoffs. And they're still going to somehow be able to draft Trevor Lawrence next year. It's going to happen.
You know what is kind of interesting to me is like they gave Taysom Hill a lot of money. And people are saying like, oh, Taysom Hill deserves it. He hasn't been paid his whole NFL career, but teams don't just give out money like that. It's a business too. So
they want something.
Athlete.
Exactly. That makes me think that they have a very, very specific plan in mind for him, and he's going to have more touches this year. I think he's not just going to be limited to like a backup QB, package role. He's going to be a more prevalent receiver. He's going to be a more prevalent, gadget player.
Running, I guess. Yeah. Put them on special teams, but the thing about Taysom Hill though is that he's not only he has to. He's not only but the thing is he doesn't only create like matchup problems. Like he doesn't determine like what play you're going to run as a defense if you see him out there. He doesn't just determine an extra guy covering him or something. Taysom Hill, when he's in the game, he determines full defensive packages. That's what happens because he can go running back, he can go quarterback, he can go flex, he can go wide out. And those different changes of positions, you have to have entirely different defensive packages. And when you don't know where Taysom Hill is going to line up, you don't know what defensive package is out there. And that's one of the most important things. A defensive package, in a lot of cases, is more important than the actual play you're running. The scheme overplays sometimes. And so that's really the impact that Taysom Hill has. I still don't think he's worth that much money, at least from what he's been doing the past couple seasons. We'll wait and see on this season. And that's a big contract that he's going to have to live up to be honest.